I have a bit of a cold, so I might sound a little different. I don't want to frighten the children. Keep them away from the screen.
But you were still funny. We just did Kevin Nealon, and Kevin's an old buddy and just one of the group. And what a crack up! Always throwing away lines. Anytime you talk to him, whether it's on this or in real life, just always funny.
Yeah, he's always. I mean, I met him in San Francisco. He started coming up and doing stand up where I'm from. We're all friends, and then the first gig he would do is like he's leaving my kind of apartment, or he's in the driveway in his car, and he's talking to you like just So anyway, whatever. In the meantime, he is raising up
rolling up his window,
rolling up the window, and he keeps talking. And that he had a lot of stuff. You call it dry, clever, acid humor. But yeah, he's always dropping these throwaway lines. They're really funny. He never pushes. And one of the funniest people you'll ever meet.
We were on Lights Out one time when I had all the Weekend Update guys on, Dana, and I do a monologue, and at the end of the monologue, Kevin goes, "Hey," because I would let the guests interrupt my monologue. He goes, "Hey, what are you going to wear for the show tonight?" And I go, "I think I'll just wear this." He goes, "Oh, okay." And then there was a plant on the table in a little bowl with a bunch of leaves. And I asked him a question and during the interview when I sat out, and he goes, "Hey, are you going to finish this salad?" And he leaned over to get it. But all that stupid shit, it sounds like nothing. And it is. But always cracks me up.
Yeah, we go over some SNL stuff and what's going on with him. It was a fun, easy podcast to do.
Road gigs, everything. So talk about his hiking with Kevin on YouTube. And he's in the new Happy Gilmore. He'll tell you all about it. Here he is.
Kevin Nealon.
I remember when my son was born, we had like 1,000 video pictures. And then as you get older, it was less and less, just back to me again.
Back to me. Yeah. The kid, you're like, I got a feel for you already. We don't need you too much, but look at me today.
Yeah. I'm back, everybody.
Back to me. By the way, Dana, I was going to tell you, I went to Kevin's house for, I think, his birthday, maybe. Is this the house you're in right now, Kevin?
Yeah, it is. It is.
This place is a decent layout, Dana. Let me tell you, this guy knows what's up.
It's a good crib, man. It's dope.
Yeah.
It's dope, baby. It's sick, man. You've been over here, Spade. It's sick.
It's sick, man.
It's fire, too. It's fire.
It's fire. It's sick. It's dope. It's popping. Some of those stairs. Oh, I remember I'd hurt my knee. And I was like, Gervitz, can you carry me down the stairs? You know what you need on your stairs? And this is just if I come over? The little electric chair that goes up the stairs.
We have an elevator.
Oh, didn't know that.
Yeah. We don't let guests use it, though.
What's it for? The help?
It's off limit. It's just for the staff. It's staff.
The staff. Yeah, dude. Dana, you got a staff out there?
I just think if you have an elevator in your house, it's a sign of good fortune. And both of you guys have it. Anyone have an escalator? I mean, what other?
Yeah, why do you have an escalator, Kevin?
We have a people mover. Takes us from the driveway into the house. But this is also serves as a department store. So, we need the elevator.
Oh, okay. It also serves as a flagship store for.
I can't remember the name of your show. Is it Off the Wall or Off Flying the Wall or Flying the Coke?
We don't know.
No one knows.
There's Superfly is
Off
on
the
YouTube.
Hook.
I thought it was Flying the Coke for a long time.
Flying the Coke? I thought it was Flying My Soup.
All right, let's get started.
I like this, Kevin. Kevin, I like when he goes, all right.
You're like these radio guys, you do those interviews, press, and they start talking. You don't even know if they're on yet. And you've been talking, give them some really good stuff. And then they go, okay, let's get started.
Yeah, they go, oh, okay, we're going to patch you through now.
Yeah.
Go, patch me through. You got 2 minutes left. Then you hear honk, honk. Here we go. Hey, we got Kevin Nealon. He's so fucking crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's, I remember one time, No, I remember one time I was in Tampa and they had one of these DJs or radio personalities, that are just morning zoo kind of guy, high energy, And I go in there, and I was going through an AFib episode at the time, and my heart was irregular. And if it goes too long, you got to have it shocked back, And I don't have that anymore, but at the time I did. And he goes, "How do you get rid of it?" I said, "Well, you got to be kind of shocked back, with the paddles." And he goes, "Oh, that's crazy." And then, like a minute later, he's got an air gun under his desk. He sounds off the air gun. I almost fell off my chair. And he goes, "Did that work? Did that work? Did that work?"
Oh, he's trying to actually get you back to life and
shock you.
How and a medical procedure that could have killed you.
It could have killed me, but on the way back to the hotel, it actually did go back the regular sinus, as they say.
What does that mean?
Sinus? It means regular rhythm.
Oh, Dana knows these terms. I don't know.
I'm not steeped in that, but I know people go through it.
Dana goes, I know how the zoo crew messes you up. Are you steeped in it?
Steeped is
Are you steeped in it? Comprehensive knowledge.
Isn't what tea does? It steeps. Hello, anyone?
I guess so.
Let's go to the phones.
Let's go to the phones. Let's go to the elevator.
Now, Kevin, when you go on gigs, Kevin, you travel a lot. I travel a lot. Dana travels minimal. But let's say you're on these gigs. Sometimes I do press ahead of time, or I call to fluff up a gig, to say, hey, I'm playing at this, Indian casino or whatever. But do you ever get up anymore like the old days and go in? Sometimes that's hard.
Once in a while. It kind of went away for a while, after the pandemic. Because, and now they're slowly bringing it back in. Hey, we got 10 seats left. You think you could top it off by getting up at 4 a.m? I know you're on LA time zone and stuff, but, really would help get rid of those 10 seats.
It would only be 1 a.m. for you. And you're like, right. Well, that's either late or early. Either one, I don't like it.
You would not have even gone to bed yet if you're in LA.
Yeah. Sometimes I go in and they go, now we've got it dialed in where you call ahead and then you can do a phoner. Yeah. And sometimes it's,
and they go,
this is tape. This is for Friday. So act like yesterday was Thursday.
Yeah. And when I say Friday, I mean Friday 2 weeks from now.
Act like the election's over and you already know who won.
But yeah, I don't particularly like going in anymore. I'm more of the mindset. Look, I don't care how many people are in that. I don't want to get up.
Oh yeah, that's a big ask. I mean, listen, my fans, they know where I am. Come and find me.
Yeah. Can you believe it's been? Well, for me, I got on SNL about 38 years ago, and it's been like 30 years, 29 since I left. I mean, we could be the grandparents of some of those cast members that are on now. Mm-hmm. And we might be.
Oh, definitely. I was just there for 10 weeks. I was working with people in their mid-20s.
Yeah.
And a couple of them, we did the math. We checked out certain biographies. And I said, I could be your grandfather. We never got confirmation, but it was in the realm of possibility.
Yeah.
Did did they build a ramp for you to get up to do church lady?
Oh, yeah. Church lady dress was a little tight in certain places, but I still got it on and zipped it up. Yeah.
It's been so long. Church lady's probably a virgin again. After all that
but
time.
It's I don't know about you guys, but that's been such a center stone for me, that show. And you constantly think about, Lorne Michaels, what he would do, what he would say to you, if, you feel like, oh, this is hacky stuff I'm doing. I hope it doesn't get back to anybody. And it was so long ago. It's like, when we were starting to do comedy, it's like your show of shows what had been a shorter distance of time between when we first started and where we're doing now. And I'm speaking for you, Spade. For me, it wasn't.
No, it's closer. Did you know that it's closer now from SNL till right now, till SNL backwards to when they invented the telephone? I was trying to put something together in my head. Adam and Eve is closer to when we got hired.
Yeah. Were Adam and Eve white?
Mm-hmm.
Question.
It got
Carvey.
tense. Got really
Carvey.
tense.
Depends who's reading what from what source. They can be any color you want.
Yeah.
It depends on where that garden is. It was in Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
Maybe.
was it a red apple or a green apple?
Yeah.
A lot of controversy.
I think it's a story. It doesn't sound like paradise if there's a reptile on a tree taunting you.
If there's snakes everywhere when you're having lunch.
And what if you're allergic to that fig leaf?
Oh yeah. How do you explain that?
Yeah.
The thing they don't explain is that the sex between Adam and Eve got really hot once they knew they were naked, and they were kind of embarrassed, and it was sort of illicit. You know, it changed the whole dynamic.
Illicit,
don't you think?
Well, do you think that they really had that? I forget the word, but concern that maybe their genitals might be showing, and the only person that's going to see it is the other person you want to have sex with.
Yeah.
There's no one else around except for the snake.
No one had sex at that point, right? They were created. So yeah, I don't know. This is really
the snake was like, "This is no competition for me."
I'm not steeped in this, guys.
No, don't keep doing steep now.
I like the word. You called it out.
You got it.
I just want to ask you guys a question because I have a really wicked cold, but I have a gig tomorrow and I'm going to fly and I can't clear my ears. And one time I did this and I have cartilage damage in one of the ears. It's very painful.
Dang it, let me just turn your head. Let me look in your ear, see if it's clear. Let me see.
Do you do the thing where you blow your nose and hold your nose? I don't do that. I'm scared of that.
Yeah,
Well, have you guys ever canceled a gig because you didn't feel well, or have you just always buck it up?
Well, I would tell you, I was just in Kansas City, and I got a stomach bug on the last day of my last gig there. I was in bed all day. I was over the toilet, on the toilet, and I just forced myself to go. To do the gig. It was horrible. I got so many nights. Good question. I could go forever. One time I was with Bill Maher and Tommy Davidson. We had a gig up in Buffalo, New York, an outdoor theater. And I don't know if I was supposed to go middle, but I had a boot boy in the back and I couldn't get up. I had to lay down on a cot. They brought a cot over. And I said, I don't know if I could do this, but I didn't want to fly all the way up there and not do the gig. So I asked the stage man, I said, would you put the cot out on the stage for me? And I'll just do my act from the cot. And I told the audience, I said, I'm really depressed. I got to lie down. And I did it from the cot on my side and they were laughing like crazy. And I got through it. And I thought that worked so well. I'm going to start bringing that cot with me to other gigs. It worked it didn't work at all. I brought it twice. And
even when you feel good. Yeah, I sometimes feel like Frazier in the 15th round, getting up off the stool if you're really, really sick.
Well,
there's you got
two problems with Dana's situation. When do you cancel? Because it's scary to cancel. By the way, if I was not working tomorrow, I would cover for Dana. And the other thing is, if they wanted me, but the other thing is, you don't want to make it worse. Like if I fly, I'm making it worse. If I go, you don't want to. You don't want to hurt your ears, or you're like, I'm not supposed to fly with sinus stuff because it might pop. Who cares if I get everyone sick? But no one cares on my flights if they get me sick. Everyone's coughing and sneezing. And I'm like, does anyone give a fat fuck anymore about just the protocol?
I wear a mask on the plane because this is an all-coach Southwest plane?
Yeah, maybe.
I'll be packed in with a lot of people, and I don't know if I'll be coughing. But look, if I have this voice, I'll be like, well, isn't that special?
People get scared, yeah.
Here's what I noticed that when I have a cold and I don't want to do something with people, I'm not interested in it. I'll tell them I have a cold and I don't want to affect them. But if it's something I really want to do and I'm obvious like Dana's got a cold, I will say, I got an allergy. Don't
worry about me. By the time they figure it out, you're out of there.
So you've never canceled. You've had some wicked nights, but you've never canceled a gig.
I've only canceled because of a TV gig or a movie.
Yeah, but for illness, you never canceled.
Or I had a good massage lined up. That's yeah. No, I never. I don't think I've ever canceled for illness.
I did San Francisco last year, Dana, your hometown or your outskirts town, and I was getting sick, and my doctor said, this is a sickening word that makes you sound old. Polyps in your nose. Which polyps? Let me explain to you what they are. I don't know what they are, but really, he said they're 100% blocking you, and you can't not be sick anymore because you've waited 10 years to get an operation. So I'm at a gig and I'm sick, and I didn't mind really being sick and just finishing the tour, but you couldn't really hear me. So I've never had that laryngitis, which is so weird. But I don't want to cancel a gig, and it's the day of the show, and people are coming. So they bring in a doctor like Pink Floyd, to jack you up. Sometimes they can do that. They give you steroids. I don't know what it is, but you're right after you're like John Bonet. You're like, ba da ba da ba ba. Somehow it clears you up. It didn't work, and I still don't want to cancel. So I go out there and I'm like, hello. And everyone's like, oh, like right away. They're like, oh no. And I'm like,
he's doing a bit.
I didn't want to cancel, so I'll give you 4%. And they're like, Jesus Christ. So I literally was like, everybody be really quiet. It's hard to hear me. So nobody laugh until the end. And just, I'll just say my jokes flatly. And then at the end, it'll count. And they're like, great.
Well, how did you know that when you have polyps in your nose? I never knew that. I mean, do you get a colonoscopy through your nose? Is that how they find out?
My nose is, my nasal cavities are connected to my butthole somehow. Like it goes all the way down. And
so they go up through the butt. Through your
they
nose.
go either way. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Nice. You might want to go through your nose first.
And then I go, aren't polyps in my beehole? And I go, well, they're just, I don't even know what they are. I picture like mushrooms growing there. They go, it's blocking. And so I went and I did the gig, but I was glad I did it because it still went pretty good because it started to come back a little. And then, I get that operation, which is terrifying and really harder than they said. But then I didn't get sick for a year and a half. Nothing.
Man, look at us talking about AFib. And
no, we
polyps.
can't talk
What's
about this. We
happened to us?
cannot.
No, I had gigs in the 80s because I would do 8 shows a week, 90 minutes a set. And I would get like,
Jumping around.
a lot of antibiotics, a lot of, plus I bit on my tongue once and was bleeding profusely. Please welcome to the stage. I mean, you do get funny things.
You go, well, yeah.
What about this? We do this a lot. I mean, Spade and I have talked about is getting injured in hotel rooms. Like getting up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night and slamming your shin into a table, right? You've had those, Kev. I had a hematoma and I couldn't put weight on it. It was so painful.
Wow. Yeah. I was in Spokane, Washington, doing a gig, and I heard that Chevy Chase was doing his Christmas vacation kind of a tour, question and answer stuff. And he was staying at my hotel. Yeah. And so I texted him, see if he wanted to go have a cup of coffee because we were at the same hotel. And he goes, well, I can't. I fell last night, hit my head on a nightstand.
Well, that would happen to me when I was a lot younger, though, too, because it's just another hotel, and it's very easy if the lights are down.
Yeah, I mean, I never thought that Chevy Chase would get hurt falling, because he did it.
He was like a big faller for a while.
Yeah, I mean, that's how he got hurt, actually.
And you wrote back, LOL.
Yeah. But, I've never gotten hurt in a hotel room like that. I slammed my finger in the door.
I have a question for you, Kevin. This is not part of this.
Yeah, just outside the podcast.
Oh, yeah. A couple questions. One is,
I don't trust you.
I want to hear a little bit about the Swatch tour because I was so jealous of it when I was on SNL.
Really?
I don't know if I was on it yet, but I thought these guys are going on the road. I mean, I don't think I was on SNL yet, but I knew about you guys got a tour because you were doing well in the show. And like 3 hilarious guys, you, 2, and Dennis. And then you played Arizona, I think, at the Celebrity Theater. I don't know why I remember all this. I just remember it was Swatch. And I think I remember what you were getting, or I heard a rumor, and I was like, oh my God. And what a fun thing. Even I don't realize then the road is hard. But 3 funny guys, Swatch tour. And that was in the summer, was it, Kevin? And between seasons?
After our first season, it happened fast. Kevin and I only done 1 season, right? When it happened.
Yeah. I mean, actually, that tour is still going on right now. But Dana and Dennis
I'm
dropped
canceling
off.
tomorrow.
It's just you?
It's just me now. I've been going since then.
That's so funny.
I still call it the Swatch tour.
That's the first time I think something was sponsored in my head, like a comedy tour. I thought that was a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys got more money because did you have to wear a Swatch?
No, but we got swatches, I think.
We got swatches. Yeah.
That was really
Funny.
exciting. It was exciting because they played clips from SNL before we came out, and the music, G.E. Smith band and the SNL
Mhm.
band, and it was just really a high rev, and people would go crazy. And that was, before anybody was kind of doing big. We had the
Yeah,
tour.
a theater was like not
Yeah,
really what I'd heard of. Maybe Leno, maybe.
yeah,
And what was the order? Do you remember? Do you guys just flip flop?
yeah, yeah. I would go on first, and then I would never get off. So it was just me basically.
And you
they,
do
they wouldn't let me get
Hans and
off.
Franz.
I would just get encores. No, yeah, it was me. I think Dennis and Dana. Maybe they switched it up a little bit.
I think we switched off a little bit.
It was me
But
because
we
I was a feature player on SNL at the time.
Oh, yeah.
never like following either of you.
I wouldn't
actually.
follow any of you guys.
I
It's
don't want to
horrible.
follow Dennis or Kevin.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
want a
yeah.
nice,
No.
very nice, clean opener, not too funny.
Yeah,
but
don't
funny
make them too good. Maybe Kevin, when you get on, did you tag team it? You should have brought up Dana, and then you should have done your Hans and Franz there.
We might have. I don't even think we had come up with Hans and Franz
We didn't.
yet.
We came up with Hans and Franz basically on that tour.
Yeah, that's
Oh.
We
right.
had not done it on SNL.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
We were in, I think, Des Moines, Iowa, and I was watching Arnold Schwarzenegger on some like up close and personal interview, and they were asking him what he does when he gets into town. And I can't do a good Arnold, but he goes, when I get into town, I get into the nice light collar shirt, and then I go into town, and I come back to the hotel, and I slip into the nice light collar sheets. And so Dana and I started doing that the whole trip, and then somehow it just evolved into Hans and Franz being these two pathetic, defensive, losers who never lifted a weight in their life.
They're still my favorite. I have to say, of what I laugh at the hardest for
Yeah.
myself that I was in, because they clearly have a lot of mental health issues. They're extremely paranoid, probably schizophrenic. They're on this rinky-dink show, and they're threatening. No one is saying anything to them. They're threatening imaginary enemies, and they will come to their house and do all these exotic torture things to them.
And no
And
one
what it
cares
should-
about them at all, and they're just
There's
mad.
there's probably only like a dozen 15-year-olds watching it. They think it's a big, they think it's like thousands of people.
And then you look so fucking doofy with your hair. Did you have separated teeth or anything?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we would paint them.
Oh yeah.
But the night Kevin and I were on the phone just hatching it out, and we were just riffing around with it somehow. And then Kevin said, "And if you don't believe, and if you don't think, and that just made me laugh." So then we did that for an hour, and we knew that was really gold. Just that they're paranoid. If you don't think properly pumped up, think again, because you're a loser. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Yeah. And I remember when Arnold came on to be in one of the Hans and Franz sketches, we were a little nervous because we were making fun of him. And we went to his dressing room, and his name was on the door. And his name was so long it went onto the wall a little bit, And we knocked on his door, and the door opens up, and it's full of cigar smoke. And we could barely see him sitting across the room. He's got a big cigar in his hand. He's got the script he wrote, and he looks through the cigar smoke to us. He goes, "Hello, fellas. Now, how am I supposed to do the accent?"
Arnold, stylistically, Arnold reminds me of Trump, and Trump reminds me of Arnold, in that Arnold just is so smart, but he makes things very simple. If they do your voice, all it does is spread you out there.
Yeah.
And we talked to him recently, and he said that us doing that really helped kind of solidify the voice of Arnold. And so we were fearful he might beat us up, not literally, but be mad or something, or disappointed.
Yeah.
But he was telling me, and it is a smart way to go if someone does an impression of you. And I think he got a great kick out of it.
You think they're both smart, but don't know how
street smart.
Yeah.
Who, Hans and Franz?
No.
Well, Arnold, the reason it was so funny about Arnold is like, and he's always got it together. You do your workout, you go to a hotel, have your protein. It's like this fantastical life, very simply said. And then Trump's like, it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be great. I mean, I
don't know what it is yet, but it's going to be great when I figure out what it is.
Self-promotion and very good about that.
Self-promotion.
We had Arnold on the podcast, and then Dana did push-ups. Remember? That was good. That was like a little clip that went around.
I could do push-ups now if it will help us somehow. It's funny. It's interesting.
I don't think
I did do. They asked me to do Elon Musk on Saturday Night Live, and I did 30 seconds of it, and they did pretty good prosthetics. And I was him kind of at a mega. I'm Doc Mega, and I'm jumping around. And then all Elon tweeted was or X'd, Dana Carvey sounds just like Dana Carvey. I thought was kind of funny.
That was a slam. He was trying to slam you.
Oh, that was a slam.
I think so.
Yeah,
like it wasn't any good.
I do think if you do an impression of someone, it can be a little disjointed for them because is that how people see me?
Yeah.
Well, anyone getting an impression, Tom Petty, I did, and I made him look like he was deformed in the face, just like stretching my face around. But and then I always think when you meet him, they're going to be so excited, like, "Oh, aren't you the guy that makes me look like a fool? Aren't you the guy where you benefit and I don't at all because I'm the guy you're making fun of?" And I'm like, "Yeah, isn't that great?"
Go ahead.
I was just going to mention because I hadn't seen anyone else do that. You did Brent Musburger. It was a famous sportscaster. He may have just retired or something, but and you just pulled your eyes down or something.
Yeah, I pulled my eyelids. I pulled the sides of my eyelids down. That was an Al Franken idea, right?
And
there.
just kept them there as you're talking.
Yeah,
you held them. During the bit, you held them.
Yeah.
Instead of prosthetics, he did it, manually and just held it.
But talking about people getting mad at you for doing them,
that's great.
I used to think, they're all getting mad at us for doing it, but people actually, these actors love it because it gives them the attention mostly. And I remember I did, but not always. I did Michael Bolton once where I was trying to sing like him. My voice was all raspy, and I got bronchitis after that for like a month from doing that voice. So I'm in Hawaii, like, maybe 8 months later, 10 months later. And I get into the jacuzzi in Hawaii, and Michael Bolton's on the other side. It's just me and Michael Bolton and his wife at the time, and my wife at the time.
Oh, no.
And he did not say a word to us. And then I'm walking back to the hotel room, and she said,
"Say anything."
He didn't say one thing, and
maybe.
And I said, "I wonder why he was so kind of standoffish." And she goes, "Well, you did make fun of him." And I said, "Oh, that's right."
Oh,
but he ended up doing a lot of funny stuff.
Oh yeah, no, he's great. He's great.
Yeah, I mean, he really makes fun of himself.
I was probably misreading it at the time, but he was, because it's such an ego.
What about when he tried to drown you?
Great voice.
Well, he did let me up at the last minute.
Was he in the Feed the Chickens fundraiser sketch?
I don't know.
That was where David did.
I did
Dylan, and you did Petty.
Oh, is that?
It was all We Are the World.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It was We Are the World. I was either Dave Pirner, Kurt Cobain, or Tom Petty. Those are three I did in those type of sketches where we're like doing a fundraiser where great idea, just everyone plays a celebrity.
I think it was Bonnie and Terry Turner. You must have played some celebrity.
And Farley was Wilson Phillips. He was Wilson and Phillips. The funny thing about Farley doing that is that the other two were actually just extras, which is very rare on our show. We had someone just play. Could have been Christine Zander or something, but you throw writers in there sometimes, but it was just purely extras that look like the other two.
Kevin, let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
I was just going to mention. Oh, go ahead. I was just going to say to Spade that. All right, Spade, can I get a word in for a minute? I would see these posters of you and Farley, and you look like you were 12 at the time. And and I always think to myself, I wonder, and the same with John Candy, I wonder what kind of work would be done by those actors now if they were still alive, and if you were alive as well. And I always wonder what that would
if Farley, Farley in Tommy Boy. I still have his jacket, this like kind of plaid jacket he wore on the poster or in the movie. And it's not that big. He wasn't that huge then, only because I was such a twig. It kind of made him look bigger, but he probably at the end weighed 80 more pounds.
That jacket fits you at the time.
That jacket fits me now. but yeah, I think Brendan Fraser, was it, Dana? He came over and he put it on and it fit him perfectly. And Brendan Fraser isn't big. Yeah. He wasn't in his whale costume. He was just regular.
Was that a whale costume? Is that prosthetics?
Remember when he played whale? Did he gain weight for that? I don't know.
Yeah, that was a massive prosthetics.
He told us for a
Yeah.
full hour. I don't remember. I'm like,
That
oh.
was an intense movie.
I s-
But I do think that Chris's golden age, Tommy Boy, and that year he had on SNL, obviously, was he guest hosting when he did the Man Down by the River? Or was he in part of the cast?
No, he was in the cast. I think he did it.
Yeah.
Okay.
He did it again
Yeah.
when he.
Oh, okay. Later.
When he hosted right toward the end, and he was really sweaty and.
Bob Odenkirk wrote that, correct?
Yeah.
Man Down by the River.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. He would get really sweaty. I remember the last time I saw him, I was up in the Brillstein office, and he was in a conference room, just sitting at a long table, and I think he had like his hair dyed pink. It was a mohawk or something, and a leather jacket, and just sweating and real fidgety.
Yeah.
Let me guys ask you a question. Seinfeld went crazy when I always say this. I got to ask you a question, because there's all these things they're doing with SNL because the 50th documentaries, this and that. They put me in some room and they had on one board tons of sketches on cards, all-time great sketches. And then they had a classic board and they go, okay, we want you to pick what would be the first sketch. You're trying to do an all-star show right after the monologue. They already had a cold opening. I couldn't remember what it was. Host monologue. So the first sketch up, and I saw Man Down by the River, but then I'm thinking, you can't have that first up because you can't follow it, So you want something really up, but that people could follow. And
what'd you pick?
All the great. I actually, not because I was in it, but I thought it was not hysterical, but incredibly entertaining. And that was Wayne's World with Tom Hanks as the roadie and also Aerosmith. And we played with them. Like it'd be a big energy boost, but it wasn't like Cowbell or Van Down by the River sketches that, tough to keep going in a way. They take a little time. Maybe put update in between them. Yeah.
I like the concept that you're picking the best sketch. Is very hard to look at the board.
Trying to create the greatest show of all time.
Yeah, it's an interesting.
One of the sketches that I loved was, and I have loved a lot of them, but it makes me laugh every time. It's making me laugh now. I think it was called the Bellissimo sketch when I was with Kirstie Alley going to the Italian restaurant, and all the Italian, like Schneider and Sandler,
Il Cantori, maybe.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Yeah, Cantori. And they were all doing this Italian, overly affectionate, kissing and licking her face. No, that's what they do, honey. They're Italian. That was kind of weird. Yeah.
Two things on that for me, and I totally agree, because it killed like it was a home-based sketch, and it was a restaurant sketch. It just crushed. And Kirstie Alley, I was supposed to lick her face.
You did. Somebody licked it.
No, and she was totally cool. Do whatever you want. Look at anything. I don't care about anything. She was very, very cool. I just want to put that in there. And then the moment where my character goes over as Schneider and Sandler are coming in, hardly dressed.
Yeah,
that kept escalating. And then I put Victoria, stood her up, put her down on the table, and had her legs over and then kept talking as if I was having. Now, that was probably the build of that whole sketch. That moment where I was just a passenger in the joke, nothing I was doing, legs over my thing. Hey, come on, was one of the biggest laughs I've ever been.
And it's in the background too, so it's not like right up front. It's in the background, over the shoulder.
Forced. It's kind of casual.
Was Sandler wearing a jock strap when he was as a waiter?
But that was the funny thing, is when we're walking away, they all come up to the window, and Sandler's got a Speedo on. Schneider's there, and they're all looking at like they're puppies and wanting to be adopted.
Right.
Yeah, we're just dressing our faces again. Okay, it's called Il Cantori. It's on YouTube.
Il Cantori. The other one that comes to mind is Head Wound Harry that Jack Andy wrote. When Dana's wig, they had put some like red syrup on there so the dog would lick it, and the dog is pulling his wig off, and Dana's trying to hold on to it.
I was just a passenger in that, and they did put more. Did Schneider tell us they put more? It was like baby food or something, but they kind of held back on the dress show, and then they put a ton on the prosthesis, the fake, rubber bloody head I suppose they had. And then I knew the sketch was going so strong that I just did not want the wig to come off and have it be
Yeah.
so I just held it at the temple, and that just made the tug of war go on for a minute or something. And so you can't beat a dog that doesn't know what's in a sketch.
Yeah.
It just really is hungry.
Just trying to fuck with
and
you.
so
It would have been
Yeah,
hilarious if he actually took the wig and ran away with it.
Yeah, that would be fucking
Just the
awesome.
title
well, it could
alone.
have gone to that. Yeah.
Just the title alone, Head Wound Harry.
Massive
Just
head.
makes me
wound.
massive head.
Yeah.
It makes me laugh so hard.
With a little song. And I was talking to Sarah Sherman and some of the younger cast members, and I said, I love a presentational sketch where the song kind of tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah.
And they said that's kind of out of fashion. I didn't want to be a grumpy old man. Okay. But it was always very relaxing when you'd see a little song and a thing, and then you go in, the guy actually has a massive head wound. I don't know.
Yeah,
I would do more of that personally, but maybe it's out of style.
Like Toonses.
Toons has had one.
Toonses the cat, or even
Yeah.
Hans and Franz. Welcome to Hans and Franz.
Or even
Music.
he's
Presentation.
Lyle, the effeminate
Effeminate heterosexual.
There was a song, wasn't there?
Everything is conjectural. He's Lyle, the effeminate heterosexual. I had a hard time with that one because, and again, this is the early '90s. It was very edgy. I heard it was Tim Burton's favorite sketch. But I met a hairdresser who I just thought was gay, and he was straight, and so there it went from there. But I couldn't really do the voice because every time I did it, it sounded like church lady to me. So I had to come up with a different. That's inside baseball. Kevin, so you had Subliminal Man on Update several times?
Well, that was the first sketch I ever did was Mr. Subliminal in the first show that we came out of the gig on. And I was terrified. Because, you see you're standing on the stage with Belushi and
that's right. When was that on in the show, by the way?
It was, I'm not sure. I think it might have been the first half. But I remember waiting to go on, and I'm terrified. And we're like 10 seconds out from commercial, and Lorne Michaels comes up to me, and he puts his hand on my shoulder, and he said, "Are you sure this is what you want?" Action.
What a psycho. He always has little quips, and he doesn't realize they're just like bombshells to whoever is about to go on. Everyone's so scared.
I believe he believes, and maybe it does in a way, kind of relax you. I mean, once you get used to it, not on your very first show, but Lorne always does stuff like that. It'd be a good thing if this show was actually like good, and stuff like that. It's
yeah. I would love to see a compilation of everybody's first sketch and kind of gauge the level of nervousness that they're having.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But not good.
No, it's not. It's not a great idea, but it's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
What was yours? I can't even think of what you had any line in. Oh, you know what mine was? Casualties of War when I did Michael J. Fox, and it backfired.
So you had a great
backfired because they forgot to put me as a feature player in the opening credits, so people thought it was Dana or Mike because I had a wig on, and they didn't know it didn't sound like my voice, so they were just like, "Who's that guy?"
Elon Musk thought it was you.
Huh?
Elon Musk thought it was you.
Yeah. He said, I saw that bit. It sounded like David Spade.
Exactly. David Spade.
Yeah.
David Spade.
Oh, and I was like, oh.
So, yeah, Kevin and I mean, to have a sketch, say it was before Update and stuff, was a big thing, especially we had a small cast and our very first show, everyone got to do a lot of stuff, right?
Yeah. There's only like 8 of us, right?
I think total.
You guys had 4 cast members, right?
When they first started, I think it was 5, maybe, or
it was 1,
5 or 6. Yeah, I was a feature player, and then the next year, Lauren said I could be either a cast member, or if I want to stay a writer, or I could remain a writer. And I mean, but if I became a cast member, I wouldn't have that writing title.
Oh, that's right. They take writing away.
But we all still wrote. I took the cast. I took being on the cast.
So you were in the cast.
Yeah,
they're doing a documentary. One of the SNL, there's 5 of them on Peacock. And I guess one of them is just writers, which is great. But I asked the person who saw it, I said, is there any cast members in there who just were writing but didn't get credit because
No.
you get used to it, but it is just sort of funny. People say, "Who wrote that thing?"
Yeah.
You're like, "Well, I wrote 90% of it."
Right.
It's
I-
crazy
I-
that you don't get that.
I hosted one of those. It was called the Weird Year, and that was in 1985, I think. That cast, 85, 86.
Yeah, that transitional strange year.
Yeah, Anthony Michael Hall, Robert Downey Jr., all talented, actors, but I don't think the synergy was there between the writers and them.
Synergy.
It didn't. They don't let it steep enough.
Yeah.
Well, there's Groundlings and Second City and stuff, and then there's just stand up and
actors.
stand up, and then actors. But stand ups, we're trained to get a laugh, and so we automatically are trained to have some brevity to the setup and things like that.
Right.
And where are the laugh points? But I would have loved to have gone to something like Groundlings. Didn't have it when I was starting out in San Francisco.
I know. That is my regret. But who would have thought? All I wanted to ever do was stand-up comedy. I wasn't even thinking about acting or improv. I just wanted to be a stand-up. But yeah, in hindsight, I would have much rather been in the Groundlings had I known like SNL was going to come after me.
I have a question before we dump Kevin, but Kevin, what was the movie you did with Sandler? You've probably done a handful with him, right?
Yeah, I've done like 13 Sandler films.
The one where you had plastic surgery.
Oh, that was called Just Go With It.
And did they look like it looked pretty real. What did they do?
Well, that was 4 hours in a makeup chair every morning.
It was? It had to be because it looked good.
For 4 days, and they only used me for one of those things,
Oh, really?
Yeah, one. But it was really funny character because I had so much plastic surgery, and Sandler was a plastic surgeon, and I would see him at the party, and I come up to him because I was addicted to plastic surgery, and I go, whatever his name was, one more cap, just give me one more cap, implant, cap implant, I'll take one. And then I'd laugh and the water would drool out of the corner of my mouth because I couldn't move my face, But
that's so funny.
But I did a lot of those films with him. And I remember I got the script for Grandma's Boy and I read it and I thought, I don't know, man. I don't think I want to do this one. It's like really crass. And, Sandler wasn't even in it, but he was producing it. And so I decided not to do it. And the next day, Sandler called me and goes, Nealon, I really hope you do this movie, because, if you don't do it, it's a big hit, I'll feel bad. But, if it's not a big hit, no one will see it anyway. You did that.
That was Nick Swartzen, right? And and it was Jennifer Aniston in the plastic surgeon film with Sandler. That was a big hit, I believe, that movie.
Yeah.
Just
go with it. She was Grandma's Boy. I was in, and I probably did Kevin's part that he passed on. I was a waiter.
Well, no, I didn't pass on. I ultimately played Mr. Cheezel. Who was the boss? Yeah,
I did too, and I jinxed Adam. I mean, I think the films were perfectly good, but they didn't outperform. And the first one was Little Nicky.
All right,
and I played the ref with a high pitched voice. And then Jack and Jill, where Regis and I were kind of hanging out because Regis Philbin was in that one too. These are just like small parts. But Jack and Jill, I guess I think it has a resurgence now because it had a lot of funny stuff in it.
Happy Gilmore's coming out.
Did you do Happy Gilmore?
Yeah, I just finished doing that.
You did?
Amazing. Yeah, that's going to be crazy. Yeah, that was fun.
I think that movie is just sort of iconic. At some point, it became iconic, so people really want to see it.
The budget was the GNP of Guatemala.
It really was, man. I've never seen. It was almost like an invasion going into the. I mean, there's like 100 trailers and golf carts everywhere, and prime rib and wild salmon.
How many cameos in it, or how many character actors are in it? I keep hearing people are in Happy Gilmore too.
There's a lot of like athletes and cameos.
It's a Guinness Book World Record of cameos.
Lovitz, you, Marcelo, from SNL.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a lot of people. A lot of people.
It's going to be a lot. It's going to be a huge smash.
We're going to do things. We're going to take over. It was very interesting when he goes, in Panama, we're taking back Panama. I mean, it does get a little like, He even outdoes Trump. We're taking it back. We're taking it back. I mean, what is Panama supposed to do?
Panama goes, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah.
I mean, the guy is just what a character. We'll see where it goes.
All right, Kevin. I think we should let Kevin go because he's been a really good sport today.
Kevin Nealon, as a friend of the podcast, came in.
Well, yeah, you had
canceled
you had a fallout. So you called me, and I was in the next studio over. I said, "Sure, I'll come over," and filled in for that person. And you don't really see that on podcasts that much. Hey, can you come on over? We just had somebody drop out.
Yeah.
Like they used to do on all those talk shows.
Oh yeah, they call me on a lot of these talk shows and go, "You're our favorite guest. Can you be here in 12 minutes?" I'm like, "Oh, this isn't a fallout, is it?" They're like, "No." One time Richard Gere fell out and they were calling around and Schneider did it. And then he goes, "I'm just going to do it as Richard Gere." So he did the interview and just answered whatever he thought Richard Gere would say.
That's funny.
Yeah, it bombed. Anyway, no, it did good. It was funny.
I remember we had SNL, our studios was above Letterman floors. And whenever somebody bailed out on Letterman, they would call me to come down. And it got to the point where I really had nothing to say, nothing prepared. So I thought, I can't really do this anymore. I never thought I'd be turning down like a spot on Letterman.
Conan too, when Conan took over.
Yeah.
You guys might have been gone by then, but yeah. But Kevin, you're on the road, so go see Kevin on the road. Yeah,
KevinNealon.com, my tour schedule. I have that. Don't forget the hiking show, man. Hiking with Kevin.
Show.
You both did it.
It's fucking
Tom
great.
Hanks was on recently.
So you can go watch on YouTube. Is that where it is on YouTube?
It's on YouTube, and I have that book out. You both, I exaggerate. My brushes with fame. I exaggerate.
I exaggerate.
Two great titles. I exaggerate, and then under that, brushes with fame. So
my brushes. Yeah.
Is
that a memoir, as they say, or autobiography kind of?
It's not really, but it kind of turned out to be one because I talk about Johnny Carson doing that and how we met, you and I, and you and me, and yeah, so it kind of became kind of a memoir. But it's like these 60 paintings I've done, caricatures, and on the opposite page is a little anecdote about that person.
Oh, yeah, that's tricky. That's good. Would you be scared to do a caricature of me because there's nothing to exaggerate because I have perfect features?
You're in the next book, by the way.
Okay. Yeah. Hold me a spot because a lot of things about me that are really interesting. Also,
you look a lot like Richard Gere though in it.
So what is? Am I gonna? If it better not be Richard Gere, it better be me. I need my own page.
Yeah.
And
I think Dick Gere is a great actor. I really like Dick Gere. I don't know.
I like his. They always have weird names. His son's name is Fourth, and I knew Fourth Gear when I used to be. Anyway, so
how about the daughter? Daughter is Winter, right?
Is that true? Winter Gear.
Winter Gear.
It's not. It's not even a saying. Now, Kevin. So if we go on YouTube hiking, start with my episode because we walk on flat ground, and then also you can watch old episodes and new ones. Right? That's good. That's the good part.
Yeah, it's all on YouTube. There's like 5 seasons of them. I've done over like 140 hikes.
You just do Bill Bird. I see that.
Yeah, I did Bill. It was like 2 days before the fire wiped out Will Rogers State Park.
What's all this brush? Why do you have brush?
Yeah.
Come on, Dana. Go ahead.
That was fun.
It drives me nuts.
There we go.
Cyclone fences. What the fuck? Get a regular fence. Drives me out of my fucking mind.
Who eats pickles? It's a fucking cucumber. Go fuck yourself.
You got to close before you send me off, Dana. You got to do your. I don't know if you do your cold, but
I'll try.
This one makes me laugh more than anything Dana does.
We love Dennis. Okay.
Yeah, love him.
Doing pretty good. Gonna go down. Get a little lobster down at the pier this afternoon. Okay. Our friend Dennis is in a very relaxed time in his life. Let's put it that way. And it's really fun to talk to him because he's just very chill. Yeah. Okay. Sammy came on. He still calls you Sammy or refers to you as Sammy because we did the 2 Sammys in 1986.
Sketch. Yeah. He seems very relaxed and chill in his place right now. Good for him.
Mm-hmm. And where are we at?
He's
Where are
not
you
desperate and thirsty like me out there running around doing gigs all over this fucking town.
And this country.
All over the country. Oh, man. Well,
Do you
Kevin,
take it? Do you take advantage of social media? Spade? I mean, do you feel like you should be out there, like, more
not in an
clips and
illegal
more?
way. I do clips and stuff. I don't really do clips in my act because most of my stuff is a little longer than, I could put longer clips, but some bits, I guess I still do. Some of the old ones I put up, some are not as relevant, but it is good to just have clips floating around. Someone catches something.
Yeah, you don't do audience work, crowd work.
I
So,
don't. And I don't know if I even love when I see these clips because everyone's doing them only because that's the clips you put out to come see them so they don't burn their real material. But then they look like a crowd work act. So some people go there
Well, you
expecting
could
crowd
do a
work.
crowd work act. I mean, it's okay now. Film 5 shows and
Yeah.
take the best crowd work parts and just call it crowd work. I mean, that beats writing an act.
Yeah, that's what Matt
And
Rife
Kevin,
did.
you're very good at that. So
Mhm.
well,
I'd love to see crowd
what a
work.
lot of people don't know is I do the same crowd work on every show.
Is that right?
I do the same. Whoever the person is, I'll do the same lines each time. Looks like it's spontaneous, but no.
But so you don't want to record it because then you can't use it.
No,
Yeah.
I use the same 3 people in the audience. I take them with me on the road. They're shills,
Okay.
and it looks like it's spontaneous.
You know what I do, Kevin? I go,
It's like a lot of work to travel with
It
that.
is,
But
and the cot. I bring the cot with me too, so it's a big
that's
production
a big
deal.
to do.
I was talking with Brian Regan once. He did one of my hikes, and he says everything in his act it's the way it's supposed to be. There's no spontaneity or anything. If he spills a little water, that was planned.
For real?
It's Brian.
Yeah, and one of the funniest comics out there.
I know people that do that, like when they
Of all
laugh in the middle of a joke, and then I see them all week, and they laugh at the same spot every night, and I go, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, I know, but it is an act. That's why they call it an act.
It's a magic trick. You're like, hey,
Well, you're pretending that you're remembering your material.
Yeah, it's trying to fool the audience. I mean, it's yeah. I used to know everybody when they took a swallow before their line, or it's and here's the one thing I don't do, and this is just for me. I don't call a bit a joke. Like if somebody laughs, they'll say, "Oh, that last joke," because that's like it's like a magician saying that was a trick.
Yeah.
No, I thought that was real. I thought that really happened. No,
Right.
it was a trick. So I never call it a joke, and so that way people realize I'm not a comedian. They go, well, maybe he's not a comedian. Maybe that's actually happened to him.
Mm-hmm. This is just an hour of things that happened to him recently.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of.
Well, when you say, actually, let's say 2 weeks ago, I was driving.
Yeah.
You say something like that.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I've done all the tricks. I've done all that stuff.
It's all good stuff.
Some of your early stuff was, I remember seeing this one at the Comedy Magic Club. They say live every day like it's your last. So every day I take out insurance or whatever.
I stay on the phone for 3 hours making funeral arrangements. Then I just
take it literal every single day.
Get on the phone.
You have to do that because it's your last day.
Isn't it funny that, and I know this happens to you too, someone will come up and they'll say, in fact, Spade did this to me once. He goes, "Hey, you got a really nice camera, right? It's one of those black ones." Remember that, Spade?
And then you don't remember, and I go, "That's from your act."
That's what I'm saying. People remind you, and you go, "Oh, I don't know that one, but I guess so." I saw Letterman a couple of weeks ago, and he was telling me about it, how much he loved this joke that I used to do, and he tells it to everybody and gives me credit. I said, "Which one was it?" He goes, "Well, you talk about how Abraham Lincoln used to walk to school every day in the snow, but what they don't tell you is, yeah, but he was late every day." And he loved that joke so much. And so a week later, I tried it in a club because I don't remember it. I tried it in a club, crickets, nothing.
Yeah, bomb. I like when you say I stayed. I stayed in a hotel. It was nestled in the hills. It always sounds better than wedged. It's wedged in the hills. They were not. They put me in the honeymoon suite. I stayed with a nice couple from Nebraska.
Yeah,
those are good.
Yeah, a hotel can be nestled. It can't be wedged though on a hillside. Underwear is wedged. Underwear can't be nestled. You know, you never pull your underwear out of your crack and go, "Oh, that was kind of nestled up there."
Yeah, it really got nestled deep. Okay, let's leave on that one, Dana.
It was steeped in my butt.
The word of the day was steeped. Thank you, Kevin. We'll do this again in a week.
Thanks, you guys.
Kevin. That was fun.
Thank you, man.
Okay, bye, guys. This has been a presentation of Audacy. Please follow, subscribe, leave a like, a review, all the stuff. Smash that button, whatever it is, wherever you get your podcasts. Fly on the Wall is executive produced by Dana Carvey and David Spade, Jenna Weiss Berman of Audacy, and Heather Santoro. The show's lead producer is Greg Holtzman.